and welcome back to the show. And I'm joined in the studio with Andrew Stewart. How are you, Andrew?
I'm very well. Good morning, Michael.
Great to have you back in there. Andrew, everyone knows you as being the freelance banker that they can go to and access to all these different lending institutes and the rules and regulations and the different appetites they've all got for things. But I was thinking, and we've had a bit of a chat about this, a lot of people, when they've got a trusted advisor like yourself, they tend to then externalize the responsibility, or, well, it must be the bank's fault, and they just don't like my type of industry, and they tend to do that. And one of the things I like about the way you operate with people, and I like to do this as well, and I'm sure people watching do, you like to go, no, I can actually give you back the control.
Absolutely, yeah.
Empower you. And that's a fascinating. And I thought it'd be worthwhile just having a bit of a chat about that, because that's quite unusual from a financial point of view.
Absolutely. That word empowerment is exactly what we are doing by assisting our clients take back the control of the situation. Because rather than then being reactive to situations, you're on the front foot, and the best offense is the best defense, right?
Yeah, it was like a old manager of mine said, look, you've got two choices, Michael. You can get in someone else's bus and let them drive it and you just become a passenger, or you can become the driver. It's your bus and they have to get on it with you. And this is a kind of thing, it's a bit of a funny analogy, but it's a kind of, I go, oh yeah, so I'm actually in control.
Oh no, it's not funny. No, it's a very serious part of business, and those that do well at it are those that are able to go, no, the steering wheel's mine, and this is the direction in which we're going. Absolutely, no, it's about taking control, that internal locus of control.
Now that's an interesting term, the locus of control. You said, Andrew said to me off screen, I must admit, I was like, what? I don't think I've heard
it sounds a bit oogie boogie, but it's a concept that came out of the 1950s.
Okay.
Mr. Julian Rotter, he came up with this concept of the internal and the external locus of control. External locus of control is where you blame somebody else, it's somebody else's issue, it's out of my control. Where an internal locus of control is that people are self-determined and they have the strength and the courage to go, actually, this is the decision I need to make, and this is what I need to do.
I must admit that for a lot of business owners, we tend to be able to do that, and I'll speak for myself. I'm sure people, if you can relate, that'll be good, but we tend to believe that I'm very much in control in a lot of aspects, and I'll say a lot of aspects of my business. But when we step into this world in which is your world, finance, we just feel like, well, I'm a little bit helpless here. Now I don't feel like I'm in control. I'm just wishing and hoping and praying that someone will see my point of view.
Yeah. So with the trusted advisor concept, I'm in your court. I'm there to work for you on your behalf, and with only you as my objective for keeping happy and assisting. So it's not my objective to assist the banks or any particular one of them. It's the solution for you. So I'm in your corner looking after you.
Is that I know that having freelance bankers have been around for a long time, and you did tell me that, but they seem to be around a long time for like the big players in the market, and now smaller players, and I'll put myself in this category, seem now to have access to this that was perhaps either rightly or wrongly, but had a perception that it perhaps wasn't for the small and medium-sized businesses when it perfectly is.
It's very true, and also I suppose that the industry has matured in some degree, and those with a much more broader understanding of finance and how it fits for a small business. But as we've spoken about, I have the experience of running them.
Yes.
So having moved back into that, and rather than being a specialist like just a mortgage broker or just an equipment finance broker, you've probably got some more people that are across the full breadth of issues that small and medium businesses face.
One thing I noticed that one of the hallmarks, and this probably fits into this empowerment process, is that you tend to spend a bit of time with your customers educating them. So they get to not just, oh, well, you'll take care of it for me, Andrew. You're actually going, actually, I can educate you on this, so you are empowered, so you actually understand the mechanics and what's going on.
Oh, it's really important to me that my clients come along for the journey, or that they've still got the steering wheel. I'm just saying, just go, slightly left, slightly right. No, it's important that they are absolutely in control, and part of that is that they understand as much as I do. So,
It is a fascinating world, and one thing I like about yours and educating people and putting them in control is that in business, and I can't speak to everyone, but I know a lot of business owners, and I'm one of them, we can focus on daily savings. And we'll look at wages, and we'll look at overtime. We'll go, oh, can I afford that extra hour there that'll produce more work for us? And yet this finance arm, you come along, give a bit of education, shave off some percentage points, and we're not saving pennies anymore. We're saving lots and lots of dollars continually.
Yeah.
I mean, big savings. Like, oh my goodness, I could afford to pay the extra hours overtime and get the production done because I've just saved X amount of thousands here just by a better understanding.
Yep. And look, and with all due respect, the small and medium business owner has got so much to think about and so many issues to focus on, what takes their priority. And it's easy to think, oh, well, I'm not in need of finance right now, so look, everything must be okay.
Yeah.
But look, it's like tending a garden, it's like there's a little bit of weeding all the time. You can't keep on top of it. If you don't, suddenly things get out of control. It's like, oh, there's too much of a headache to do something.
One thing I know that we are going to go to a break in a minute, but I know one of the things you educated me on was like the invoicing, and one of those products that's really coming forward now. You can get your money for the invoice, so your cash flows streaming through.
Yeah.
And some really fascinating products that are out there. Well, let's go to a break, and we'll come back more because I do like, and I think that's the advantage of having and this one like Andrew coming in as a freelance banker who actually works for you. The products, the services, you open my mind to stuff all the time that I didn't even know was available to me that could just get my business to that next level so much quicker. Yeah. So we'll take a quick break and we'll come back with Andrew with more. Welcome back, and we've got Andrew Stewart in the studio, a freelance banker full of all knowledge of how we can grow our businesses. Well, you are, because the reason I say that is so many of us in business, I know my world. But my world doesn't include the finance world. It does, but it doesn't. I don't specialise in it like yourself. And we're just having a bit of a chat. We're talking about this getting power, controlling, steering the bus, so to speak. And I guess the first time someone meets you, I can speak as a business owner, it could be quite nervy because we've got an expert coming in. I know you're going to be my advisor, but we've got someone coming in there who's going to actually have a look at things. And I might have some doubts of, do I have all the answers for you? Do I actually know what I meant to know?
Oh, you're getting a bit defensive, are you?
I'm sure it's a natural reaction. Because in business, you start asking things, we're going, do we put too much pressure on ourselves? And is that one of the pinch points we kind of go, oh, I don't want to talk to Andrew because I might not know something I'm meant to know, and I might look a little bit like I'm not quite with it.
Okay, so that's interesting, and it probably does polarise the client in one. There'll be those that do know what they're dealing with, and there are those that don't. But in either case, they still might get defensive about sharing, because it's kind of like oh, if I'm managing my business, I have to know what I'm talking about, and so, but to necessarily come clean, if you like, that I'm not actually across the whole thing completely, is another level of introspection that maybe some people aren't ready for, but it doesn't need to be that way, because we all understand that we're not experts in someone else's field.
No, and I think it's the thing. So when you actually approach a business, and one of your hallmarks is you want to educate and empower, get them driving the bus, and it's got to start somewhere. I guess that's the thing. We just got to go, okay, wherever I'm at in my understanding is where I'm at, and the only way I'm going to change that is by getting someone like yourself in the room. When you step in, though, what are some of the things you start to look like so you can get a handle on this client and know where they are, so you know where you can take them?
Well, I think even before I get to that step, I'm empathising with them because I've lived in their shoes, right? So
You've had the business, you've had the start.
It's probably we've probably worn that out, haven't we? In some ways, but we haven't, because so many times I'm able to get to the nub of the complex problem that they're trying to articulate or have thought that they've got but haven't quite been able to grab hold of it. I believe that my extra insight from living in their shoes helps me empathise and get a more clear understanding more quickly.
And I think it does. I mean, it's
in a less judgmental way.
And look, that's why I think you come across so well. That's why I like chatting to you, because not only you weren't just a solo operator. I mean, you had staff, you had machinery, you had suppliers, you had all the things that we've all got. So you had quite a large business you're running. So you had cash flow issues just like we do. You've had people don't pay you on time. You got suppliers going, pay me on time. So all those things going around.
Balance, yeah.
Yeah, and then finance itself, trying to work out how you're going to finance that next step and that next growth. So you're pushing an ideal situation. So when you step into a business and like ours and that, where does your mind start with? Where are you actually looking at to help these people go, okay, that's where you are? Now, as soon as we know where you are, it's easy to get you to where you want to go.
I think when I was running my businesses, I had the time, thought, and I thought the expertise to be able to actually do this job as well. So I did do the finance and do the overall structuring, and yes, I was doing it to a degree. But I remember I had the offer of outsourcing some of that work to someone like me, and I said no.
There's a few of us going.
So you know what it is. So I think if I spot that defensiveness in any way, I know that there's something in there. Yeah. So I go ferreting around to try and find out what it is, and so that can be a fun process. You know, it's not all Gestapo tactics. Yeah. It's a fun process, and because it's discovering something new, and if we find something, then you can find a solution. See, that's the thing.
I know. So when you work with clients, do they kind of go, I'm glad I've spoken to you, because you just open doors and open their eyes to just different things that are available to them? Yeah,
and it's giving them just another perspective on another helicopter view over their business, and that perspective helps them balance up, perhaps, or lift in priorities some of the things that they should be working on.
I must say, from a personal perspective, and it just is my own, I find a lot of small, and we're a small business and a small family business, but I find the difference between the small family business staying locked into just mum and dad and actually broaching that next step and actually becoming larger and bigger themselves. Then they're able to contribute to society and all the rest of it. Finance and getting the right finance really does unlock the future growth potential of companies.
Yeah, it's it's the circle needs expanding all the ways around, and finance is one segment of it, and staff is another, but broadening the knowledge base, the circle of trust that those businesses are operating in, is really key to being able to then is the key to being able to moving on.
How long, as an advisor, how long do you normally spend with people in these first few meetings to really start getting a handle on things and seeing where you can assist?
It does depend on the quality of the information that they've got. It depends on their ability to articulate the problems that they're seeing, the level of clarity of measurement and benchmarking they have within their business. But generally within an hour, half an hour, we can get a pretty good handle on what's going on. The analysis might take a little bit longer, but yeah.
Do you find a lot of companies, and this is just a question, that are coming to you do want to grow? They're going, look, if I can unlock this potential, I can grow. Reminders of that. I'm not going to say the bank's name on here, but one of their ads is a company was trying to grow. I think he makes camper trailers, and it was the bank that unlocked the potential. And now he's got this great business, great staff. He's able to do developments and things like that. And you're probably going, I know which one you're on about. But
oh no, I'm thinking a silver bullet.
Yeah, but it's like, but they did. The bank took a really good, or someone took a really good understanding, saw what they wanted to do, and by that understanding was able to unlock it. Is it because you spend time with clients and get that understanding, you're able to unlock it so the finance institute, wherever it is to put money in, can see it and understand exactly what they're getting into?
Yes, exactly. Well, it is. It is storyboarding their situation and pointing out clearly where we've got pinch points to be able to unlock the value that is back there.
Yeah.
But
Fantastic.